Welcome to Knife Chats. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. My first impression of the Baladeo Barrow. So I came across this knife company online, Baladeo, I don't know how it's pronounced, and I'm not even sure what country of origin the company is in. It's some European company, I'm assuming, possibly Italian, French, Spanish, German, Swiss. I really don't know. But I saw the knife online and it kind of looked cool. And so I thought I would take a look around and find a review on it. I checked through YouTube, and all the reviews I found were in foreign languages, which made me think for sure that the knife is somehow headquartered in Europe somewhere, and the languages sounded like either Italian or Spanish. I don't know for sure. In any case, I knew even before I bought it that the knives were actually made in China and that they use 420 steel. And lo and behold, this is what we have here, the ECO097 made in China by Baladeo, or Baladeo, using stainless steel, 420 stainless steel. And this is the knife, and it does look pretty cool to me. I still like the handle, and it's they actually come in other colors. The only color available in the United States seems to be black, but if you're in Europe, you can find handles in red and yellow and green and all sorts of colors. It's really, so their market is definitely Europe. But the knife is essentially a Victorinox climber, even though it does not look like it. You see here on the back, you've got the Reamer and the Corkscrew. They're just on opposite sides. But the important thing that you notice is that little notch there, right there and here. That's the asymmetrical floating back spring used on Victorinox knives. You can spot that even a little bit more clearly here on the side, because this rivet holds the tool in place. This rivet is actually for the back spring to keep it where it needs to be. That's the rivet for the back spring. This is for the back tools. And these two end rivets are obviously for all the other tools. And if you notice, these are actually screws, which is going to be real helpful with this knife, because the handle does get loose and you need to tighten it. It's a nice rubberized grip over the metal, so it's a really comfortable hold despite everything. The blade on it is kind of cool. 420 steel, like I said, so it's not the best of steel. About the same length as the blade you get in your climber, but as you can tell, it's a Skinner blade, or there's no drop in this point at all, and which means that it's strong the entire length here. Doesn't really thin out until the very end. So you've got a longer cutting edge, I guess they think. And if you notice, it locks because there is a liner lock here. You got to be careful closing it though. So that's the main blade. On the back of the knife you find the can opener. Looks similar to the one you find in your Victorinox. But if you notice with the Victorinox, it is a much cleaner, neater design, and the cutting edge is better here, and the screwdriver tip is much more pronounced and a much better screwdriver tip on it. So definitely a better screwdriver tip on the Victorinox. One thing you will notice is it locks. I'm not sure why you need it to lock, because that screwdriver tip is pretty lousy. You don't want to use it for a screwdriver. The cap lifter screwdriver, not nearly as good as what you find on your Victorinox. You can tell it's rounded off there a little bit. It's not really much thicker, and everything is rounded. Even the wire stripper is rounded there. It'll open a bottle, that's for sure, but it's not the best of screwdrivers. And this one does not lock, and it also does not have the half stop that you have with your Victorinox. You do have the scissors, and let me see if I can get them out. Here we go. Got a good pair of scissors in the middle, and they work pretty good. I have no problem with the scissors. Spring is not the best. You'll probably, if I were you, I would take that spring, pop it out, and replace it with a Victorinox spring. That's what I would do. It is a rivet in there, but it does cut really well. So at least brand new, they work pretty well. Oh, better not close that yet, because the other thing you have, if I can get it out, is an in-mounted Phillips screwdriver. Now that tip looks very small, yet I used it on several number 2 wood screws, and it worked quite well. So I was kind of surprised that it would do what it was doing. So you really do need to seat it well, but the tip goes into the screw real well, and it will actually turn wood screws into wood. So I was kind of impressed with it. So not a bad screwdriver for it. You do have to open up the scissors to put the screwdriver back, just like you do on the Outrider and such. Obviously no toothpick or tweezers. And the reamer on the back is kind of odd. There is absolutely no rounded, it's completely a rounded point, not extremely sharp, and it reminds me more of like a very small marlin spike than it does an actual reamer or anything. So it would probably work a whole lot better at digging out knots and stuff, which could prove very useful on a knife. So yeah, it's not really a reamer. It's just, it can punch a hole, but you're not going to ream anything because there's no sharp edge. Corkscrew is pretty good. There is a lot of flex in it. A lot of people complain about that. That is really not a problem. You are pulling corks out of wine bottles. That's its main function, and that's why the corkscrews bounce like they do. So you can actually get that into the wine bottle and start pulling it out. So good corkscrew. And this is a little chintzy, the ring here on the end. You'll probably want to replace that too. But for 17 bucks, I was really kind of impressed with it. Yeah, the blades do get a little loose, and they will wobble some, but you can tighten them back up, so that's not too big of a problem. And the fact that they lock is kind of good. I don't think it's as good as a Victorinox climber, but then it's also not nearly as expensive as a Victorinox climber. So I think it is worth the $17 that Baladeo is asking for it. And the fact that you can tighten things back up is kind of good. And it's really kind of a solid knife, and it feels good in the hand. So don't have too many complaints about it. Thanks for watching. Hope that helps you out. Just a quick clarification. The handle is actually 91 millimeters or 3.5 inches, same as the what you'll find on a Spartan. The steel is actually listed as 2CR13, which is a Chinese equivalent of 420 stainless steel. The handle is indeed aluminum with a rubberized coating on it. And then you see the other things that are listed on the knife. As always, thanks for dropping by, and remember, you're only as sharp as your knife.